For countless centuries, people have sensed a hidden influence guiding the realms of kings, governments, and empires. A secret power lurked beneath the surface. This force was so ancient and vast that most couldn't grasp its true extent. Some referred to it as Baal, while others named it Satan, the Illuminati, or the New World Order. But what are the origins of these names that have inspired fear throughout history? What tales lie behind these names that haunt humanity? Today we embark on an exploration through ancient artifacts, religious texts, and contemporary politics to uncover how the vision of a supreme evil ruler transformed from ancient Canaan's temples to today's online discourse. Hold on tight. We're diving deep. To grasp the essence of Baal, we must journey back 3,500 years to a place that is now Lebanon, Syria, and northern Israel. This land was called Canaan, a vibrant crossroads of ancient civilizations, rich in valleys and coastal beauty. Within Canaan, among the Canaanites, reigned a god like no other, Baal Hadad. The term Baal simply means lord or master in ancient Semitic tongues. Initially, it served as a title, akin to calling someone the Lord in English. Over time, it became tied to a specific deity. Hadad, the god embraced by storms, thunder, rain, and fertility. Our knowledge of Baal stems from two key sources. First, archaeology, notably the clay tablets unearthed in Ugaritic, a city by present-day Syria, in 1929. These ancient tablets, inscribed with Ugaritic cuneiform around 1400 BCE, reveal exceptional mythological stories. They depict Baal as a formidable warrior deity, battling chaos and death to restore life. In a famous tale, Baal conquers Yam, the god of the sea, and establishes his magnificent palace atop Mount Zaphon. He later ventures into the underworld to confront Mot, the god of death, symbolizing the seasonal cycle, drought and rains, demise and renewal. Baal represented life. The rains he brought nurtured crops. To farmers, praying to Baal was as essential as monitoring the weather. He held the power to preserve or ruin their harvests. The second source shedding light on Baal is, interestingly, the Hebrew Bible, where things start to get complex. The ancient Israelites often alternated between being neighbors and conquerors of the Canaanites. Their god, Yahweh, was frequently positioned against Baal. Prophets like Elijah, Hosea, and Jeremiah passionately implored the Israelites to reject Baal, warning that abandoning Yahweh would lead to calamity. The dramatic clash in the Book of Kings, where Elijah challenges Baal's 450 prophets on Mount Carmel, poses a riveting question. Who holds true power? As monotheistic beliefs flourished in Israel, Baal faced systematic vilification. Once a venerated deity, he morphed into a potent symbol of paganism and moral decay. In later Jewish stories, Baal transformed yet again into Beelzebub, meaning Lord of the Flies, one of the renowned names within demonology linked to the New Testament's Prince of Demons. Let's delve into an even more captivating evolution, that of Satan. The modern perception of Satan, a horned, red-skinned, pitchfork-wielding figure of hell eternally opposing God, is surprisingly recent. The earliest depictions of Satan bear little resemblance to this image. In the Bible's initial layers, the term Satan, written as Ha-Satan in Hebrew, meaning the adversary or accuser, isn't a name, but rather a title. In its original context, this role wasn't an enemy of God. Rather, it belonged to God's heavenly court. In the book of Job, considered one of the oldest texts in the Hebrew Bible, Ha-Satan acts as a celestial prosecutor who roams the earth, reporting back to God and testing Job with suffering. He's challenging and harsh, but not a rebel. He fulfills his duty. In a sense, he's like an attorney for God's adversaries. This limited view of Satan began to morph significantly during the Second Temple era in Judaism, around the 6th century BCE to the 1st century CE. The Jewish people faced great turmoil, Babylonian exile, return under Persian rule, and subsequent conquests by Alexander the Great and Rome. Amid this suffering, Jewish theological perspectives began to explore evil more deeply. Influenced by Persian dualistic beliefs in a good God battling an evil one, Jewish apocalyptic literature reimagined Satan. He evolved into the leader of fallen angels, revolting against divine will, the ruler of an underworld domain. By the time of Christianity's rise in the 1st century CE, Satan emerged as a powerful presence. In the New Testament, he tempts Jesus in the desert, possesses individuals, and is termed the prince of this world and the god of this age. In Revelation, he's depicted as a great dragon, an ancient serpent waging war in heaven until cast into the lake of fire. Christianity took this amplified figure of Satan and expanded him further. Within medieval Christian thinking, he transformed into the ultimate representation of pride. Once the most beautiful angel, Lucifer, who fell from grace due to his arrogance, becoming humanity's eternal adversary. Islam too possesses its unique view of this figure. In the Quran, he's referred to as Iblis, linked to the Greek word for slanderer, or shaitan, the Arabic equivalent of Satan. Iblis's narrative is striking. When God creates Adam, he commands all angels to bow before this new being. Only Iblis refuses, claiming superiority because he's made of fire, while Adam is clay. In Islamic thought, this pride represents the original sin, not disobedience to a moral code, but arrogance. Iblis is cast out, but receives a reprieve until the day of judgment and vows to mislead humanity. Importantly, in Islam, Iblis does not equate to God. He holds no independent power. He can whisper and tempt, but he cannot compel anyone to act against their will. He is merely a creation of God who chose a misguided path, wielding power only to the extent that people permit it. Across the Abrahamic faiths, we observe a recurring theme, a figure characterized by opposition to God and humanity, emerging from functional roles and evolving into a personal embodiment of evil. Now, we reach perhaps the most pertinent section of our tale, how these ancient notions, the vilified Baal, the insurgent Satan, and the unseen adversary, intertwined with historical events to give rise to modern conspiracy theories. The belief that history is subtly dictated by concealed, powerful groups is remarkably ancient. In Rome, citizens suspected hidden influences within the Senate. During medieval times, Jews faced wrongful accusations of managing wealth, governments, and even poisoning wells. Tragic claims that sparked extended persecution and ultimately contributed to the Holocaust's ideology. The 18th century introduced a real organization that shaped conspiracy thinking, the Bavarian Illuminati, founded in 1776 by Adam Weishaupt. This secret society, composed of Enlightenment thinkers opposing religious power in public life, lasted merely a decade before the Bavarian government intervened. Yet in public perception, it endured. Within years, pamphlets circulated claiming the Illuminati sparked the French Revolution, infiltrated Freemasonry, and aimed to annihilate Christianity and established governments globally. This marked the inception of the modern secret ruler conspiracy narrative. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, this framework resurfaced repeatedly. The Freemasons, a fraternal group whose rituals borrowed from ancient guilds and religious symbols, were accused of global domination. When Freemasonry's imagery appeared on the American dollar bill in 1935, it ignited persistent conspiracy theories. The Protocols of the Elders of Zion, a document fabricated by the Russian Tsarist secret police, falsely claimed to unveil a Jewish plot for world control. Though quickly debunked, it spread widely and was cited by Hitler to justify his genocidal agenda. The recurring pattern remains. A clandestine group, often linked to sinister or occult symbols, supposedly secretly governs banks, media, and militaries, while keeping the populace in ignorance and subjugation. Each era introduces its cast of villains, adapting ancient fears of shadowy rulers to reflect historical anxieties. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, these age-old narratives woven together manifested in fresh ways. The symbol of the eye above the pyramid, A from Enlightenment era Freemasonry, became emblematic of a pervasive surveillance state in popular culture. References to Baal, Moloch, and satanic rituals infiltrated discussions about global elites. The internet supercharged this concoction. Real historical truths. Yes, secret societies existed. Yes, influential individuals strategized behind closed doors. Yes, the ancient world was rife with strange religious rites, fused with paranoia, fabrications, and misinformation, leading to a bewildering array of claims. Critical thinkers emphasize a key distinction: the documented presence of coordinated effort, lobbying, and elite influence in politics is legitimate. Investigative journalism has uncovered real instances of corruption and abuse of power throughout history and in contemporary society. None of this necessitates the involvement of demons or ancient gods. The peril of supernatural conspiracy theories lies in how they distract from the rigorous understanding of genuine power structures, creating an alluring yet ultimately misleading narrative that often scapegoats marginalized groups. So, what have we discovered together today? We learned that Baal was not an evil entity. He was a storm deity revered by real people who relied on rain for their crops, telling beautiful stories of cosmic order and chaos. Over time, rival religious traditions demonized him, twisting his identity from a weather god into a symbol of all deemed wrong and idolatrous. Furthermore, we've understood that Satan didn't emerge as a completely formed being from the Bible's pages as a malevolent foe. Rather, he started as a legal figure, an adversary, a prosecutor, evolving over centuries amid trials, exile, and theological challenges into a prominent character in human thought. Finally, we learned that the notion of secret masters manipulating events has existed since civilization began, fueled by authentic examples of concealed power, distorted by fear, and exploited by those seeking to redirect public outrage toward imaginary foes. History isn't controlled by dark forces. It's shaped by human beings who carry ambition, greed, valor, faith, and the capacity for both destruction and creation. Recognizing the roots of our fears, tracing them back to ancient myths, religious transformations, and political exploitation provides powerful tools for navigating a world that often wishes us to fear shadows. The genuine narrative of Baal, Satan, and the myth of hidden rulers is not a tale of supernatural evil. It's fundamentally about us, how humanity has sought to frame suffering, identify adversaries, and understand a reality that frequently feels beyond their control. That intricate story is far more compelling than any conspiracy theory.